What if I told you that most of your daily stress, your anger, and your sadness all comes from a single hidden psychological trigger? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that trigger. We're going to see how just understanding it can, believe it or not, set you free.
Okay, let's start with a question. Have you ever had this happen? Someone makes a really simple, offhand comment. Maybe they criticize a movie you like, or maybe they say something about a plant you've been taking care of, and it just stings. It feels like they just took a shot at you. Why on earth does that happen? So picture this. You've got this plant, you water it every single day, you take care of it. A friend comes over, glances at it, and just casually says, that plant's pretty ugly. Now logically, you know it's just their opinion about a plant, but you feel this deep, personal jab. That feeling right there, that's the exact puzzle we're going to solve today.
So yeah, let's dive right into this puzzle of offense. What is this invisible thing that's happening that turns a simple comment about an object into a personal wound?
Well, the culprit actually has a name. It's called identification. It's this mental trick we do where we fuse our sense of self with something that's, well, not us. You take an object or a job title or an idea, and you subconsciously start to treat it like it's a part of you. Now, this whole identification thing can happen in a couple ways. You've got the really extreme conscious kind, like someone who genuinely believes they are a celebrity. But the one that gets all of us is way more subtle. It's subconscious. It's not the thought, I am my work. It's that immediate sting you feel when someone criticizes my work, as if they just said, I am not good enough. And this whole process creates this kind of false I. It's a version of ourselves that's built on all these external things. And as we start to unmask this false self, we can really see the painful consequences it has on our everyday lives. And it creates this incredibly predictable chain reaction of sorrow. It's like dominoes. First, once you identify with something, you instantly become insecure about losing it. That insecurity, well, it leads to this desperation to protect it at all costs. Then when it's threatened, boom, you feel stress and anger. And if it's actually lost or criticized, that energy can just collapse inward and turn into depression.
And we do this with almost everything. Think about it. Your car isn't just a machine, it's a reflection of your success. Your role as a good parent isn't just something you do, it is who you are. Your political beliefs, your favorite sports team, even your reputation for being a super efficient person, we weave all of it into our identity.
Now, get this claim. 100% of our present sorrows arise from identification. That's a radical idea, right? It suggests that every single pang of sadness or frustration we feel right now can be traced back to this one root cause. It's a bold statement for sure, but it really makes you think. And this isn't just some small personal problem. This exact same mechanism scales way up. When we identify with a group, our company, our country, our ideology, it's the fuel for everything from tense arguments in the boardroom to, well, massive global conflicts. The ego doesn't actually love the country, it loves its own image as a patriot. So we can see the immense cost of building our identity on all these shaky external things. But here's the good news. Just recognizing this cost is the very first step toward finding a much more stable and honestly, a more peaceful way of being.
The solution really begins with this powerful shift in how we see things, recognizing a radical separation between your true self, your soul, your core consciousness, and the temporary show of your life, with all its roles and possessions and dramas.
So what is this true self then? Well, one way to think of it is as an invisible traveler. Just imagine for a second that you are a tiny, featureless point of light, a guest just passing through this story world. You are not your body, you are not your job, you are not your house. You are the consciousness that's just experiencing it all.
And this shift builds a completely different kind of power. See, ego strength is super fragile. It's like a balloon. It needs constant praise and validation just to stay inflated. But soul strength, that's internal, and it's resilient. It doesn't need to borrow self-respect from a fancy car or a job title because it comes from your true, unchanging nature. Okay, this all sounds great in theory, but how do we actually practice this? How do we make that shift from living in our fragile ego to resting in our true self? Let's get into some practical tools.
Here's a really simple but incredibly powerful drill. Several times a day, just pause, stop for just 10 seconds or a whole minute. And in that pause, try to sense that you are the invisible traveler, that little point of light. Mentally take a step back and just observe your body. Observe the role you're playing and the situation you're in as if they're separate from you.
And here's another great tool. The next time you feel that sting of offense, use it like an alarm bell. But instead of getting angry,
or blaming the other person, get curious. Ask yourself this one simple question. What hidden identity of mine did that comment just threaten? That moment of pain can become a moment of incredible self-discovery.
This all leads to this key mindset shift, moving from a feeling of ownership to one of trusteeship. So instead of thinking, this car is mine, try thinking, I am the current caretaker of this car. You can still be totally responsible, protect it, use it well, but you're doing it without all the fear and fragility that comes from tying your very self-worth to it.
You know, putting these ideas into practice isn't just some mental game. It is a path toward real, lasting freedom from that daily roller coaster of ego-driven emotions. So let's just bring it all together. So, what are the big things to remember? First, your suffering usually isn't random. It's a direct result of identification. Second, use that feeling of being offended as an alarm bell. It's a clue to investigate your ego. Third, practice being a caretaker, not an owner. And finally, always remember that your real, true strength comes from your core self, and it's completely independent of your stuff or your achievements.
Let's just end with this image. The invisible traveler, your true self, flying high over this glittering, chaotic world of stories and attachments. Owning not one single atom, but experiencing everything. Seeing it all for what it is, a temporary show. And in that clear seeing, remaining completely, beautifully, untouched, and free.